You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Monday, 24th day of April, 2023. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. We do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. Except tomorrow, I think we're just going to do 1, but that's an exception. Anyway, the first live broadcast is our live training room. That is reserved for members only and those who are taking their 1-week free trial. If you've never taken your 1-week free trial, go to mytradingiq.com. And at the top of the page, there's a button that says free trial. Click it, complete the 30-second registration form, and your trial will begin. Doesn't matter what day you start. It can be in the middle of the week. It can even be on the weekend. We're going to still give you 5 consecutive trading days where you have access to everything. Indicators, platforms, live training room, Logic 247 alerts, concierge trade alerts. Now the Logic alerts and the concierge trade alerts are only available to passport holders. That's our lifetime members with no recurring fees, no upsells, and no nonsense. Okay. Now, I got to admit, I'm a little shaken by some news I just read. I haven't even had a chance to read the article myself, so I'm going to read it to you in a minute. When the morning broadcast ends at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, we take a 30-minute break. Come back at 12 noon Eastern for the second broadcast of the day, which is open to the public. That's everybody, everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. There are 2 different ways to join the afternoon broadcast, this broadcast. You can go to mytradingiq.com, scroll down to where it says afternoon broadcast, click the link, complete that 30-second registration form, and you're done. Every trading day going forward, you'll get an email about an hour before the broadcast starts. So at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is open that email, click the link in the email, and it will automatically log you into our platform, where you will have access to the question box so you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Now, on days you're out of the office, away from the desktop, or you don't have any questions, but you still want to join the broadcast live or watch it after the fact, because maybe you're busy doing something else, point your browser to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CFRN. youtube.com/CFRN. Easy to remember. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, we also archive every daily broadcast. Currently, there's over 2,200 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. For those who are new to the world of CFRN, It's a great way to get to know who we really are. Anybody can say anything today. Yeah, but what were they saying 6 weeks ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago? Well, we don't want to hide that fact. In fact, we want to share that with you. So go to the YouTube channel when you have time and then scroll back 6 weeks, 6 months, a year, 2 years, even more. Pick a few days at random, okay? And you don't have to listen to the whole broadcast, but just fast forward to the part where I'm doing the recap of the alerts and where Michael is doing the recap of the live training room. You'll see the connective thread that's woven through each and every daily broadcast. We have switched things around a little bit of late. It used to be that Michael would come on first and do a recap of the live training room, and then I would recap the other stuff. But now Michael comes on 45 minutes into the broadcast to do a recap of what happened in the live training room this morning, every morning. And then at 1 p.m. Eastern, we go live on the TradingView platform and do some live trading for about 30 minutes. Now, for those of you who are tuned in via the YouTube channel, you already know what the topic is of today's discussion. What will happen if the US dollar loses its status as the world's reserve currency? It's hard to imagine, but with each passing day, it becomes more and more of a potential reality. In fact, it's kind of in motion already. So we'll talk about that in a few minutes. We're going to open with a word of prayer. I'm going to read this article that I found, well, let's just say it took me by surprise. But as always, we're going to open with a word of prayer. Now, our topic for the last week and a half has been about, it's centered around doubting Thomas. Okay, that's the term I'm sure you're a believer, you're familiar with. He's a disciple that said, I'm not going to believe that Jesus rose from the dead until I put my finger in the nail holes and stick my hand in his side. It doesn't take any courage to doubt. That comes easy, that comes naturally. But to believe and to have faith, especially faith about something that you've not physically seen, that takes courage, or what we call brave faith. Today's scripture, John 20, verses 26 through 30, and I'll be sharing from the Message translation. 8 days later, his disciples were again in the room. This time, Thomas was with them. Jesus came through the locked doors, stood among them, and said, "Peace to you." Then he focused his attention on Thomas. "Take your finger and examine my hands. Take your hand and stick it in my side. Don't be unbelieving. Believe." Thomas said, "My Master, my God." Jesus said, "So you believe because you've seen with your own eyes. Even better blessings are in store for those who believe without seeing." Jesus provided far more God-revealing signs than are written down in this book. These are written down So you will believe that Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of God, and in the act of believing, have real and external life, eternal life, in the way he personally revealed it. Again, that was John 20, verses 26 through 30. Now, this scripture records the second time that Jesus appeared to the apostles, and this time back in community. Thomas was there. Jesus appeared behind locked doors, physically and spiritually, to unlock the potential in Thomas. Jesus didn't wait for an apology or remind Thomas of his failure. He didn't rub his nose in it. Without hesitation, Jesus gave an invitation. Put your finger here. See my hands? Reach out your hand and put it in my side. Jesus knew exactly what Thomas needed. A crisis of faith had revealed his deepest doubt. But Jesus answered his deepest longing. First came Jesus' invitation, asking Thomas to come closer. Then came the imperative, stop doubting and believe. Before Jesus ever issued a command, he initiated restoration. Jesus didn't withdraw from Thomas, and he doesn't withdraw from us. We are not the sum total of our worst moments. We are known, wanted, and loved by the God who created us. No matter what we have done or what has been done to us, when we encounter Jesus, we are invited in. With full surrender, Thomas exclaimed, "My Lord and my God." The original Greek literally reads, "The Lord of me and the God of me." Calling him Lord, Thomas used the word kurios. That's with a K. Asking Jesus to be the owner of his life. He traded his doubts that day for a life of brave faith. God used Thomas in astounding ways. The man who once hesitated to believe now invited others to experience the miraculous and to know Christ for themselves. He took the gospel to India, further than any other apostle, where he was martyred for his faith. We too are invited to get close enough to Jesus so that faith becomes the driving force of our lives. Because more than anything, we need an encounter with Jesus. That's the secret. Okay? Don't live your spiritual life vicariously through your preacher or pastor or spiritual guide. You need to have your one-on-one personal encounter with Jesus. As a conduit of grace to a broken world, you will bring light into dark places and hope into hurting hearts. Let Jesus be the owner of your life. Go where he calls, wherever he calls you to go, and be brave enough to believe. Question: has this discussion about Thomas impacted you and drawn you closer to Jesus? Join me in a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you that we are known, loved, and wanted by you. Take our lives and use us for your glory. It's in Jesus' name that we believe and pray. And everybody said, amen. All right, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you the numbers from around the world. Then we're going to read that article, that news article I just got. Then we're going to talk about the US dollar losing its status as the world's reserve currency. And by that time, it may be time for Michael to pop on, so I'll get as much of the alert recap done as I can, and then when Michael is finished, I will complete the recap. Fair enough? Fair enough. All right. Here come the numbers from around the world. I'm going to start here in the U.S. with the cash markets, or the indices, as they're called. Currently, the Dow down 61 points. The NASDAQ down 99. S&P 500 down 12. The Russell 2000 down 8. In the commodity basket, crude oil up 87 cents, trading 78.74 last. That's a gain of a little over 1%. Gold up $5.80, trading 19.9630 last. Silver up 18 cents, trading 25.25 last. In the Asian markets at the close, Nikkei posted a gain of 29 points. Shanghai fell 25. The Hang Seng dropped 115. Pretty quiet trade. In the European markets at the close, FTSE was down just shy of 2 points. The DAX dropped a whopping 17 points, and the CAC fell 3 points. That's about as quiet a trade as you're ever going to find. So that gave us a mixed day in Asia, because the Nikkei was positive by 29 points. It was a red day for the UK, and so far it's a red Radio Monday here in the US of A. So let me go to that article that I was just talking about. This is going to change my evenings. Fox News said Monday, it is parting ways with firebrand anchor Tucker Carlson, the network's most popular primetime host and a leading voice in the modern conservative movement. The network announced the stunning news days after it agreed to pay nearly $800 million to Dominion Voting Systems to avert a high-stakes defamation trial that had cast a shadow over the future of the network. Fox News Media and Tucker Carlson have agreed to part ways, the company said in a short news release. Mr. Carlson's last program was Friday, April 21st. Fox did not specify why Carlson is leaving the network, and a spokeswoman did not immediately respond to an email from NBC News requesting more information on the reason for his abrupt exit. The network's statement did not include any comment from Carlson. Tucker Carlson tonight a cornerstone of the Fox News programming lineup since 2016, was one of the most watched shows on American cable news, outpacing rivals at CNN and MSNBC by so much. It's crazy. Carlson established himself as one of the most influential figures in a conservative political coalition reshaped by former President Donald Trump. He regularly drew controversy for incendiary statements about race, LGBTQ rights, and other topics. He also attracted intense scrutiny for spreading political misinformation, fostering conspiracy theories about the results of the 2020 presidential election, and minimizing the severity of the January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm sure you'll... Now, this is left-wing news, NBC, so I'm going to stop there. I'll get under the hood, and perhaps tomorrow I'll be able to give you a better idea of what really happened and what he plans to do next. I wonder if he's ever considered a life in politics. I mean, it takes cojones to fire the guy who is your #1 show on the entire network. I'm truly shocked. I am. But he'll pop up somewhere and do something. I don't think he's just going to go home and lay on the couch and watch Springer all day. That would be disappointing. All right, so we'll get into the alerts here in just a moment. But this is really important to each and every American and anyone in the world who holds the US dollar. I remember on my first trip to Africa, everyone there wanted a $100 bill, a US $100 bill. They didn't want a wrinkled one. They didn't want a torn one. They wanted a crisp one. And, you know, not that they wouldn't take a 20 or a 10 or a 5, but the hallmark of greatness literally was to have a US $100 bill. But that was quite a few years ago. The US dollar has long held its position as the world's reserve currency, a title that has granted it considerable power and influence in the global economy. However, if the dollar were to lose its status as the reserve currency, the repercussions would be significant and far-reaching, affecting everything from international trade to geopolitical power structures. Before we explore the potential consequences of the US dollar losing its reserve currency status, it's important to understand what the term means. A reserve currency is a currency that other countries hold in significant quantities as part of their foreign exchange reserves. These reserves are held to facilitate international trade, investments, and financial transactions. The US dollar has been the dominant reserve currency since the end of World War II, thanks in part to the United States' political and economic dominance at that time. The dollar's status as the reserve currency has given the U.S. a significant amount of power and influence over the global economy, as well as allowing the country to run large trade deficits without facing significant consequences. If the US dollar were to lose its reserve currency status, and I'm telling you in my bones, I feel it happening now, but I pray it doesn't, there would be a number of significant consequences, not limited to, but including a weaker U.S. economy. That's number one. The U.S. economy is currently heavily reliant on the U.S. dollar's status as the world's reserve currency. Losing this status would result in a decline in demand for the dollar, which could lead to a depreciation of its value. This would make imports more expensive and reduce the purchasing power of U.S. consumers, leading to inflation, possibly hyperinflation, potentially a recession, and perhaps even the second Great Depression. Number two, a shift in global power. The U.S.'s position as a superpower is closely tied to the U.S. dollar's reserve currency status. Losing this status would reduce the country's ability to influence global affairs, particularly in relation to economic matters. This could result in a shift in global power away from the U.S. and towards other countries, particularly China. Number three, a reordering of international trade. The U.S. dollar status as the reserve currency has facilitated international trade for decades. Losing this status could result in a shift away from the dollar in international transactions, potentially leading to new trade blocs and economic alliances that exclude the U.S. 4. A rise in the cost of borrowing. As the reserve currency, the U.S. dollar benefits from lower borrowing costs. Losing this status could result in higher borrowing costs for the U.S. government, which could make it more difficult to finance the country's debt and could result in higher interest rates for consumers. Well, what's the Fed been up to lately? And this hasn't even happened yet. Number 5, a change in investment flows. The U.S.'s position as the world's reserve currency has made it an attractive destination for foreign investment. Losing this status could result in a decline in foreign investment in the U.S., which could lead to a slowdown in economic growth. What do you think our GDP will be this year? Now, the big question. What could cause the dollar to lose its reserve currency status? There's a number of factors that could lead to the U.S. dollar losing its status. One of the most significant is a decline in the U.S.'s economic and political power, which could reduce the demand for the dollar. Can one man really destroy a country during a 4-year term? You're watching it happen right before your eyes. Another factor is the rise of alternative currencies, particularly the Chinese yuan, which is increasingly being used in international transactions. So, bottom line, the U.S. dollar's status as the world's reserve currency has granted the U.S. significant power and influence over the global economy. Losing this status would have significant consequences, including a weaker U.S. economy, a shift in global power, and a reordering of international trade. While it is not clear when or if the U.S. dollar will lose its reserve currency status, It is important for policymakers to consider the potential consequences and to actually take steps to mitigate this happening. You see our administration taking any steps whatsoever to mitigate this? Well, I don't want to get into politics, but current administration's Destroy America as We Know It plan seems to be working real well. What do? Let's say you got some money stashed away, whether it's in a bank or in a coffee can in your backyard. If the US dollar is going to lose value, where do you put it? Well, for years, the flight to quality has been gold and it's been silver. Of late, it's been even cryptocurrencies, the Bitcoin. This is something that you're going to have to think about deeply, because FedNow is rolling out in July, I believe. This is programmable money, where the government will be able to track every dollar you spend, where you spend it, where you're at when you spend it. The list goes on. It's very frightening. This is 1984, the great book, come to life. So start thinking, start planning, start booking appointments with smart people smarter than me, licensed investment professionals. I'm just some guy on the internet, okay? You really need to think hard and fast. Can a currency lose 50% of its value in a day? It can. Am I forecasting that to happen? I'm not. I'm simply making an observation. You might think, well, I'll give it some thought and I'll get around to doing something at some point. Well, whatever it is you're going to do, I suggest doing it while the dollar still has strength. So, now, stepping off my soapbox and bringing to you live the Logic 247 recap. Okay, we're in week 247. Over the last 247 weeks, we've issued over 13,900 individual handcrafted alerts. All of our lifetime members, all of our passport holders have access to the Logic 247 alerts and the concierge trade alerts. Since the market opened last night at 6 p.m. Eastern, I issued just 9 alerts. We're still waiting on 1. We had 8 actionable alerts, of which so far nothing has been stopped out. Over the last 247 weeks, we've averaged 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out based on not risking more than $300 per contract per trade, less when possible, based on market structure and a very simple 3-step process that we teach all of our passport holders in their unlimited one-on-one mentoring sessions. Big caveat, never risk more than the potential profit in a trade. Even though an alert might have a potential profit of $1,000 or $2,000 or even more. If your plan is to get out at the first target, to get your goal for the day, then you should not be risking more than that. It's bad math, bad science. It won't end well, I promise. Now, all of the logic alerts and the CTAs issued last night were based on last week's weekly trading zones. So when we go to the charts, you will see last week's zones. We've published the zones since December 14th of 2009. They come out to our members and trial members every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. So our members have an opportunity to get the new zones on their charts well before Wall Street even wakes up for the week. Now, our original alert service, the concierge trade alerts, they're a little bit different in a couple ways. The concierge trade alerts are based on historic price action, while the logic alerts are based on current price action. The logic alerts can come out around the clock, 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. Futures trade around the clock. We have traders around the globe. Our day session is their night session and vice versa. But the CTAs don't come out around the clock. They're posted as a static report shortly after the Globex open, Sunday night through Thursday night. Last night I chose to put the CTAs out first, so it wasn't until 45 minutes into the open that I published this report. Now, we're going to use the ES as an example. When the CTA report is published each evening, what do? First thing you do is you make note of where price is at this time for whatever markets you trade. We're going to focus just on the ES. Price is always going to be between these two numbers, your long target and your short target. So on your 30-minute chart, once you make note of where price is, in this case at 6:45 p.m. last night, then draw a line in the sand at the long target and a line in the sand at the short target. Those will serve as great visual cues and help you stay on the right side of the street. If price gets above the 30-minute BBC, it's trying to reach the long target. If price gets below the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the short target. It's as simple. Always have to look left to spot potential obstacles, previous swing highs or swing lows, which will act as support or resistance. And over time, you will learn how price behaves at a weekly trading zone. Price is always trying to reach a weekly trading zone. From the moment the markets open Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern till they close Friday afternoon at 5 p.m. Eastern, if price is above the BBC on the 30-minute chart, it's trying to get to the zone overhead. If price is below the 30-minute BBC, it's trying to get to the zone below. You must resist the urge to make it more complicated than that. As long as you know which way the wind is blowing, it's pretty simple to reach your goal for the day. Now, Michael's going to be here in a couple minutes, so we'll at least get a chance to peek at the daily chart. And then when we're done with the recap of the live training room and 30 minutes of live trading on the TradingView platform, I will finish the recap. So let's bring up that daily chart. There it is. We have a development. Now we talked about this for the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 trading days. That once blue and climbing gets directly above price, that makes it potential resistance. Now, when you've got price, the step line, and blue and climbing, or vice versa, price, step line, red and falling, that's a beautiful place to be short and a beautiful place to be long. But once blue and climbing gets above price, potential resistance. Blue and climbing has now turned to red and falling. Here's what happens quite often when blue and climbing turns to red and falling. Or when red and falling turns to blue and climbing. But we have a situation directly overhead. The high of the day is the step line, resistance. Above that, red and falling. Definitely potential resistance. Support is at the low of the day, then the daily BVC, and then the top of this trend line. And if we trade through those, then we've got the 24% fib retracement. We've been in a downtrend over a year, okay? So these fibs that you see were drawn from the low put in on October 13th to the high put in on February 2nd. So we've been jammed up. I mean, look at how the market flows. This is daily, okay? Now this is the same no matter what market you trade. It's not just the S&P. If you trade Amazon or Walmart or Bitcoin or the British pound, any futures market, any stock, any crypto, any forex pair, doesn't matter. Price flows the same across all markets and all time frames, except when it's not flowing. We've had a log jam here. So we got support right below us at the daily BBC. That stands for bull bear cross. Price crosses above it, we're bullish, we anticipate higher prices. Price crosses below it, we're bearish, we anticipate lower prices. So we've got support here, resistance here. I suspect, based upon how the zones came out this week, and of course members and trial members already have the new zones. The zones you'll see on my chart are still last week's zones, because the new zones didn't come out until 6:15 a.m. this morning. So, could we see a continuation? Could we ping back and forth from support to resistance to support, resistance for a while? Yeah. We need some exogenous event to blow the dust. Did your grandpa ever tell you it was time to take the car out on an old country road and blow the dust out of the tailpipe? Yeah, mine did. Anyway, we need something to shake this thing loose. The dollar losing its status as the reserve currency, that would definitely be such an event, but we certainly hope that doesn't happen. Michael, let me know whenever you're ready. All right, we're on the 30-minute chart. The 30-minute chart is where all alerts come from. The logic alerts and the concierge trade alerts. Vertical line on the chart separates today, Monday, from Friday of last week. Keeping in mind that today, the Monday session, began last night with this candle right here at 6 p.m. Eastern. Okay. Again, these are last week's zones, because the new zones didn't come out until this morning. Tomorrow on the broadcast, the new zones will be on my chart. So price is below the BBC with red and falling overhead. So what do we expect? Lower prices. When price drops to a weekly trading zone, what do we expect? Support until proven otherwise. And so we made that drop. You had your chance to get your goal for the day right there, 8 o'clock, from 8 to 8:30 last night. This candle opened at 41.50 and a half and hit a low of 41.45 and a quarter. It's 5 points. $50 a point, $250 per contract traded. If you've earned the right to trade 10 contracts, that's a $2,500 handle. Okay. But we expect prices to go lower because we're below the BBC and we have red and falling in the picture. And we expect support at the zone. We got it. We got it again. And we consolidated. Only 3 things happen at a zone. 70% of the time, this is it, consolidation. Until proven otherwise, right here, we dropped and hit the short target. Remember I told you to draw lines in the sand? This is what my lines in the sand look like. You can make yours look any way you want. Go from 45, from that zone to the target, that's 9 points. Then we get above the BBC. Is that you, Michael?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we get above the BBC. We make a run at the long target, short target, long target, and we just might be on our way back to the short target again. But we're going to put a pause on this for now. Michael's going to do a recap of what happened in the live training room. We'll trade live for 30 minutes on the TradingView platform, and then I will complete the recap of the CTAs. Michael?
All right, here we go. I'll bring it over here. And there you go. Should be looking normal. Kinda.
Looks good.
Okay, good. Here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Monday, the 24th day of April, 2023. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com, and right here is the sign up fee for your 5-day training now, 9:30 to 11:30. Just click on that. When you do, you should go over here to trading platforms and download whichever trading platform you want to use. I'm going to be showing you the TradingView platform right now, and probably some of the DT Pro platform as well. So you should download whichever trading platform you use, or if you don't already have any, just sign up for the TradingView platform. And if you already have DT Pro, give us your DT Pro user ID, or we just got to set you up for DT Pro. And with TradingView, you got to give us a user ID. If you have NinjaTrader, you're gonna have to give us your machine ID. Right? We have it for NinjaTrader as well. If you have NinjaTrader, you just got to give us your machine ID. Okay. All right. The spreadsheet, that's on another browser. Here it is. Now, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you have to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today, as I said, is the 24th day of April, 2023. 817 ticks on the NQ, 1 tick in crude, 3 ticks in gold, and 3 ticks on the ES. Put us at 662.5 on the morning session. And today it took 11 minutes and 4 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $1,370. We had one huge NQ trade that got us that. We were actually down 10 ticks on the gold, and then we had the huge NQ trade. Anyway, so today we took a total of 20 trades this morning. All right, so that puts us at $7,065 on the month. That's over 15 trading days, averaging $471 per contract per 2-hour trading day. We've now gotten our goal in 75 out of 77 days, and we've now gone 2 days since our last non-green day, and 424 business days since our last red day. On the year, we are at $39,217. So with 77 business days, averaging $509 per contract per 2-hour business day. This is where you really want to be right here, guys. If you were to quit trading when you get your goal for the day, and you were to add 1 contract per month, you would be trading 4 contracts now. And so that would put you at, you would have had to work so far at 19.63 hours getting your goal for the day. And you would have averaged $1,354 per hour, right? That's not to say that every time you sit down and work for an hour, you're gonna make $1,354. But so far this month, we have worked a total of 224 minutes. Is that right? No, the total number of minutes is 283 minutes. All right, so we worked almost 5 hours, but in those 5 hours, we've managed to make $9,560. So we're averaging just about $2,000 an hour so far this month. And that's it. All right, so now, oops, I didn't mean to go there. I meant to go, hang on, let's go back here. All right, so that is that part of it. Now, we get into the actual trades. Okay, this is the actual trades. We'll start out with gold. Our first trade on gold was a stop out, if I remember correctly. But we did have really well traded moving markets this morning. Things were going around pretty well, considering that we didn't have any any news events really. This was our first trade this morning. We stopped out on that one, all right? And then it did eventually go in the direction we wanted it to go, but it didn't go when we needed it to go. Got a little bit back on the one after that. I think, right, we got 5 ticks back. So we were at -10, then we're at -5, and then we got 6 ticks here to put us to +1, and then we got 1 tick there to put us to +2, and 1 more tick here to put us to +3, and I forgot to add that one in, whatever that was. It was another small gain though, I think. And that was it. That was all that we did with gold. You can see after the morning session was done, well, let's just back this out a little bit. You can see it had some pretty good movement during the morning session, first down, and then a pretty nice leg up right here. There's some nice stretches in there. Came back down. We didn't do either one of those. We waited for this deep pullback right here. We grabbed onto that one a little bit. I thought I might have gotten 1 tick out of that. I didn't write it down, whatever it was. But then it never really did put in a lower swing, right, all the way over to here. So if the only trade, if you would have taken a trade, would have been this one, and that would have been, well, it was profitable enough, but I didn't do anything with it. This was all during the break anyway. I would have taken these shallow pullbacks after the direction change. I would not take a shallow pullback. I got to wait for a deeper pullback, something like this, but it has not triggered a trade yet. Okay, that was gold this morning. Now let me hit auto on this. Get it back to normal. And it'll go to the crude oil now. And let's get back here on the crude. All right, so on the crude today, we started out with, looks like a break even there. I stopped out somewhere on crude. I think we had a break even there, but I stopped out somewhere. I think it might have been up here. I stopped out, or here that I stopped out. Anyway, I had a break even. And then I had a plus, and then I had a stop out, put me at -10. And then I had a +10 to put me back to break even. And then I had a +1 right here to get me to +1 on the morning session. Okay. During the break, there was a nice trade right here and one more nice trade right here. So those were really nice looking trades there on the crude oil today. Yeah, we ended up with +1 tick is what we ended up with on crude. We did have a stop out in here. I don't have it highlighted, but I know we stopped out. I think it wasn't this one. I don't think. That was a break even. I wouldn't have taken that. I think it was probably this one right here I stopped out on. And we got it back, plus tick. I haven't looked at the questions yet to see if there are any. I don't think there are. No, there are none. Okay, so it is 12:55. I have 5 minutes left, and I have to do ES and the NQ. All right, so the ES now. What do we have on the ES? We had a few trades on the ES, so let's get through these fairly quickly here. Go back. Wow, that is yesterday, right? Yeah. Okay, so on the ES, our first trade here, we got +3. Then we had a break even on this one. It was a nice profitable trade. We had a break even. Then on this one here, I probably shouldn't have even taken that. But I ended up with a break even there and a break even here. Now, the reason I shouldn't have taken this is because it was the first trade after a trend change. It was a shallow pullback after a trend change. I usually like to wait for a deeper pullback like this one here to hit the ribbon. During the break, we missed this trade and this trade. Both would have been nice profitable trades. Okay, and that was the ES this morning. Now the NQ. Some alt and back arrow. A lot of bars in here on the NQ. All right, so here we go with the NQ. Our very first trade on the NQ was right here. I think we got 1 tick on that one. No, I'm sorry, that wasn't it. We got one tick somewhere else. It was somewhere we got one tick. I think it was a short trade. It was probably right in here. Yeah, right in here. I think we got one tick on this one. I know a lot of guys got their goal on that one or that first CS trade. Then I got 3 ticks on. A lot of guys got 12 or more ticks on that one. But I got one tick on that trade, and then this one right here, I got 80 ticks. 80 ticks. Went up 20 points. From here, it was actually 12, I think, 12 points something, all the way up to 20. It was 18 or something like that, up to 28, something like that. It was 20. It was 20 points is what I got out of that, and that put me at plus 81. Then this one over here, we picked up 6 ticks right there to get me to 87. Then we had a break even, another break even, and do anything for a little while. This one here, I was talking through this when we were doing the training, and I was talking through this one, and this one, but I picked up 30 ticks on this one. I missed that one. I walked everybody through that one, and I picked up 30 ticks, and then I walked everybody into this one, and I ended up with a break even. But it did put in a lower swing, which is good. And you see it stabilized down here at the bottom and started going sideways for a long time. That was where we ended it with the NQ. I think we didn't place in a trade. There were some more other trades in there, some pretty nice ones right through here. I wouldn't have done that right here. I'm surprised it gave an arrow. And this one here, I would have waited for the deeper pullback like that to get the long trade. That was during the break. Okay, so it is now 12:59, and it's about time to jump into the next session. Now, we're going to do the live stream. If you have not gone to the live stream yet, to get into the live stream, go to TradingView.com, Communities, Live Streams. It will be right in here. Well, it won't be that. It'll be Community. Yeah, let me find that just to make sure I got it right. Okay, yeah. If you go over here, go to TradingView.com. I think if you go here like this, TradingView.com, go to Community, then go to Live Streams. Then you'll see upcoming streams, and this will be ours right there. Scroll down to the bottom. It'll say upcoming streams, and that's us right there. Click on that to get into live stream right now. That is going to start at 1 p.m., which is less than a minute away. All right, so that'll be more live training in there. Now, if you are interested in taking a free trial with us, go to the homepage at mytradingiq.com and sign up for the free trial there. All right. That's all you have to do. If you've not taken a free trial and you want to sign up for the free trial, go there and sign up for the free trial. Let me just see while it's in here right now. Okay, gonna hit refresh and we'll start that live stream up now. It is time. Now, hopefully everything is gonna work properly on this. I tested this last night, and hopefully we are going to show the entire screen of this and share that over there now. Okay, so that should look good. And we'll hit start stream on this, and we should be going live here in just a second. All right, live stream right now. Okay, so if anybody has any questions, if you're in the live stream and you have any questions, or in the GoToWebinar and you have any questions, feel free to type them in at any time. We are starting the live stream again. This is going to be a little more complicated for me because I don't have all the screen space that I normally have as far as reading the questions in the live stream. So Dwayne, if you can let me know when we have questions in the live stream, that'd be great. And I will try to get the trades on here and do everything that I normally do. All right. So over here right now, the long-term direction is bullish. You see the outer bands right here at the long-term direction. It's a little bit bullish. We're going to have to put in a higher swing here to continue that trend. Okay, we'll have to put in a higher swing to continue that trend. And over here on crude oil, we are starting to fade off the top right there. I don't know that we're getting anything. The NQ's got a little bit higher swing, so the NQ is the only thing that's beginning to look like a trade, but it's not a trade yet either. Okay. Now, so far this morning, in the 2 hours this morning, we were +3 on the ES, +3 on gold, +1 on crude, and +117 on the NQ. So the NQ was our mover and shaker this morning. I mean, all the markets moved around pretty well. but I had a lot of break-even trades this morning. It seemed like. Now, of the 20 trades that I took, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I had 8 of them that were break-even. So if all the break-even trades, all those break-even trades went at least 4 ticks into profit, or 8 ticks if they're on the NQ. And on the NQ, we had 3 of them. 3 out of 8 were on the NQ. Okay, so what we're looking for over here on gold is to put in a higher swing right now. We want to see this get up above this level right here, this level right over here. All right, and then we'll start looking for an opportunity there to take a trade. You see, this is what the gold looks like on the DOM. The high of the day is right here. This is the high of the day right here, right there. Okay, it looks like it wants to go through that. Look down here at the bottom. You can see the totals are suggesting it's going to go up. Okay, and I was just looking at the NQ. The same totals on the NQ are suggesting it's going to go down. Okay, and the ES is not giving any guidance as far as that's concerned. And the crude oil is looking like it wants to probably go down. That's just judging by that one thing. Of course, we're not going to do anything until the charts tell us to. So right now, well, we're just waiting. All right, so we got the higher swing over here on gold now. And we want to see it go a little bit higher than that. I mean, I know we're at the high of the day, but I think it's looking to get up to 99.0 right now. 99.0 is what it's trying to get to right here. I know that's not a big deal. It's just right up above us, but that's all it's given us so far. With the gold, you can only see 10 spots out. So it just hit that with the 10 spots. The pullback number on this is 97.8. So the pullback number is all the way down here. Okay, here I'll draw it like this and I'll slide it over. 97.8, that's the pullback number. Okay, we'll see if it ends up back down there or not. See in here, I don't see any questions coming in, but if anybody has any questions in the live stream, feel free to type them in. I did start that, right? I think it says, yeah. Okay, great. Thank you. Let me move that back down. All right. So on the ES, we're not really trending. On the NQ, we're not really trending. On crude oil, we're not really trending. So the gold just went up and hit both of the numbers that I said I thought it was going to hit. That's fine. More numbers on the upside. 99.2 is just right up above us. That's not a big deal. But the pullback number now is 98.4. It's just about on top of that. And then the next pullback number is 97.8. So that's what I would look for here. A pullback down to this level. And possibly another opportunity to get in. I mean, there really was no opportunity to jump in on this yet. But if we drop down here, it's the pullback numbers are actually starting to build up on the downside. 97.4 is starting to look pretty good right now. So if I copy that and paste that. I don't know what that is, but it's in the way. Anyway, 97.4 is what we're looking for. I really don't know what that is. Okay. That took a while for it to show up. Anyway, it's not working out the way that I wanted it to. All right, so I'll draw another one in here manually at 97.4. Okay, that's the next level down below 97.8. And we do need to get a pullback. We need to see price get down into the ribbon or if it's backlined into the oversold down here. Okay. Owen says a weekly trading zone at 97.98. Okay, so we just came out of the weekly trade and that would work out if it pulls right back into it. That would be normal, right? Okay, the ES, we want to get a deeper pullback here on the ES. I really don't think we're anything out of these indexes. All right, now let's blow it up and look at it. So it's making it down. It did put in a lower swing right here, but then it pulled back and did pretty solid retracement right there. So I don't know what we're going to end up with out of that. Okay. And on the NQ, we had a nice move up, but look at it sold off here several times. So I'm thinking the NQ is going to have a sell-off here. If we were to go and look at that on a larger time frame, I believe on a larger time frame, we would see that the NQ's headed up to the midpoint right here, but it's failing right now, and it should probably drop back down to the weekly trading zone. The crude oil probably going to pull back down to this weekly trading zone. The ES is right at the point right now, and it's right on top of the BBC, the weekly trading zone, and the midpoint. So the ES is probably not going to move at all. All of these markets are pretty much stalled out where they are, it looks like. So we'll just have to wait. All those things that you saw me just put up there, guys, those are called weekly trading zones, and they're delivered to every active partner every Monday morning, partner or passport holder every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. And they're good for the entire week. And so far, they've been spot on for today. The gold is going up to 2,000 right now. That's where it's headed up to. 2,000. Not just because it's a round number, but because it's got a great big number at the round number. So I believe that is what gold is going to do right now. It didn't give us any opportunity to get into it. Right, with gold going up, the indices should go down. That's the way it used to work back in the day when things made sense. But we'll see how things go right now. Okay. All right. Does anybody have any questions about anything? Yeah, that wasn't wrong. That was a long time ago. There we go. That was a very long time ago. Now, just trade what's in front of you. I say that all the time. Doesn't matter if it makes sense. Just trade what's in front of you. It's all math. Yes. And you just have to. Exactly.
People get impatient and they go, all right, because the market's just rolling sideways, consolidating in a tight range, and they just like, let me just take a shot. That's how you lose your money.
That is how you lose. If you ever feel that way, I'll just give you my address, and you can just write a check to me, and I'll donate it. I promise, I'll donate it. But at least it'll go somewhere, somewhere nice. The ES, no, I'm not doing anything with the ES right now, Lewis. The ES isn't really trending right here. I know we gave the hour right here, but I want to see a deeper pullback, and this is a deeper pullback. But let's just look at the ES in a little bit bigger picture, okay? And maybe you'll understand what I'm thinking. It was going down here, and this is a pullback against. It's a little bit of a retracement right here, and you see how many times it sold off right here. It sold off here and here.
And you got a zone right there at 49/50.
Yeah, and we're on top of the BBC too, on the 30-minute. We're on top of the BBC, and we're right at a weekly trading zone. So let me show you that. Okay, show you that. Here it is. We'll go to the ES 30-minute. See, we're all bunched up right here. I'm not touching the ES right now. Okay, I don't recommend anybody trade it right now. Wait till it gets away from this weekly trading zone right here and the BBC. You see the ribbon is all bunched up right on top of the zone. You can hardly even see anything there. It's going to have a hard time. It's going to coil up here, I think, for a little while, but when it breaks away, it should be a significant move, I would think, when it breaks away. Okay, that's what I think. So wait for it to break away and then jump on the reaction once it starts breaking away. Okay, be part of that. Don't be part of where it is right now. All right, back over here on the gold, guys. The pullback number now is 98.4. 98.4. All right. So it's 10 ticks higher than that one, right up here at 98.4. Well, we'll see if we get the pullback or not. I don't know if it's going to happen. But it is now 1:12, so I got about 18 minutes left, and I don't know if we're going to get a single trade today. We had plenty this morning, but it seems like all our volatility has died off. So we just have to hang out and see what happens. All right, the gold, well, nothing really there on the gold. I just set it up.
Question from the live stream from
Okay.
Gold Bear Rider. How did you do this morning, Michael?
This morning, I was +3 on the ES, plus 117 on the NQ, plus 117 ticks, that means, on the NQ, +3 on gold, and +1 on crude oil. So we did okay. We did stop out pretty much everywhere at one point, but we didn't stop out on the ES. I guess we didn't stop out on the NQ, but we did stop out on gold, and we stopped out on crude. And we got it all back, and we ended up having a really good morning after all. When I was getting the gold for the day, you know, I had a great big trade when I had 4 contracts on. So I ended up when I got the gold for the day, I think we're up $1,370 or something like that after 11 minutes. Yeah, $1,370 after 11 minutes and 4 trades. That was one of those trades was a stop out. So it worked out. That worked out, Martin. You're just waiting, patient. Hope for the best. So on the ES right now, Lewis, on the ES, we wanted to get away from the trading zone and everything that's all trapped at right now on the 30-minute. If we were to break away from here and give a big push up right now, on this, I want to see it get above this level, at least. I mean, that a big push. It's not that big of a push, but I want to see it get above that level, probably all the way up to this level, and then give us a pullback and another pushback in that direction. If you're looking at it on a 30-minute chart, we'll go back here to the ES on the 30-minute chart. The midpoint between these 2 weekly trading zones, which is an important area, is right here, right at 56. Didn't I just say 56 a minute ago? Oh, nice, 64. Okay, well, 56 would be an important area right here. If it gets up through that, it gives a wick up to 64 and pulls back and bounces off the top of the midpoint. That would be like right up. You see, we have this huge woo spot right here on this candle. We have all this space right here where there shouldn't be any slowing down, really. So we just have to wait and see what happens with that. But when it breaks away from this chop right here and everything that it's at, this level of support is what it's turned out to be. I think it's going to be a significant move, probably a fast move. 21 years strong. But that's what I think, Lewis. Okay. See, the gold has really stopped moving too. It is what it is, guys. We're not going to take trades if they don't have them. If they don't show up, I'm not going to force the trade. You know, the rules are there for a reason. If anybody has any questions about anything, window of opportunity on gold. Let me look on. Let me look. Window of opportunity on the gold. Yeah, you're talking about this spot right here. You got to include the wick on that all the way up to 2000. Yeah, 2000 to 2008. Yeah, that's right. See, the last time the BBC and the MA1 crossed was way up here, right at this weekly trading zone. That's going to be a significant area too. That's all the way up at 2015. Okay, and if you're looking at the midpoint between the weekly trading zones here, and that's right there. The midpoint between the weekly trading zones is right there at 2006. So there's a lot of room for the gold to move if it's going to move. But yeah, you got that just right, Owen. All right, so the NQ is starting to come together with a little bit of a movement up here. I don't really believe it. I wanna check the reason I say I don't really believe it is because the ES didn't put in a higher wing. I want to check the bigger picture on the NQ too right now and see what we've got going on with that. Here it is, NQ right here. Okay, so the NQ does have a significant spot to move, and it is in that window of opportunity, Owen. Same thing that you just said on the ES is happening right now on the NQ. I would look for it to get up to here. 2006, didn't we just do that? That was the ES. Sorry, I'm saying all the wrong stuff. Hang on. The NQ, here it is again, the NQ. I know it looked familiar. I was doing the ES, not the NQ. Okay, so the NQ does have a spot it's trying to get to right here at 13,025. Okay, it also does have a woo spot. Its woo spot is going to go all the way up to here. We'll just go to weekly trading zone right in the middle of it. Okay, so the NQ is to go up at least a little bit right now. So we can take this trade right here on the NQ. It should make it up to the prior swing high at least right here at 13,022. Okay, that's what I would think on the NQ. Here, I took this one. Now the NQ, move the stop to break even after 8 ticks in profit. I probably should have already done that and not moved. I mean, not taken the trade because it already has gone 3 points or 12 ticks into profit. But because it's 16 tick range, the stop is 20 ticks to begin with. All right, and the rule is to move the stop to break even after 8 ticks in profit. Now I should have already had my stop at break even, but I think it's going to work out anyway. Just have to wait and see. All right. And the ES is struggling. It's trying to do something over there. I don't know if it's going to make it. All right, the NQ is at the ribbon right now. It's going to bounce up off this ribbon and move up to the swing high. I'm going to slide this off to the side. I'll tell you if I stop out. Okay, I haven't stopped out yet. It's trying to get up to 13,022 right here. My stop is at 8 1/4, I think, right? 9 1/4, sorry, 9 1/4. So my stop is right here. It's almost down there. It's almost down there. All right, so we don't have anything going on here. Don't have anything here. The gold is struggling. It's consolidating right here, and the gold is ready to make a big move. Right, the NQ, I'm still in it right now, but I'm just about out of it. Every time I say that, it makes one more little push. We're gonna hang on. I should have had my stop at break even on this trade already. I should have had a break even, but I kind of messed that one up. So I'm gonna let it ride. We'll see what we end up with. Okay, it should make it up here to this level right up here. All right. Still in that NQ trade. It is. That closing up was a good sign. Not putting in a lower swing and closing up. 2 good things. Okay. Nothing there, and nothing else here. So we wait. If you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to take a free trial with us, go to mytradingiq.com, sign up for the free trial there. Now, I go through this stuff pretty much all the time, but I'll go through it again right now for anybody that's here for the first time. There are 3 parts to the trade, right? There's the entry, the risk management, and the exit. Now, this particular trade, I did this one and this one wrong. No, but if you do the entry right and do the risk management right, that means you enter when you're supposed to enter. Now, I entered on a proper trade. I just messed up the risk management part, and so it made my entry wrong. But when you enter a trade, you have to follow the rules, and the rules are spelled out right here for you. These are the rules for entering a trade. And once you do enter a trade, then you have to follow the risk management rules, which I have to follow right now, which is to get your stop to break even after you have 8 ticks in profit. So if it gets up here to 16.25, then I would bump that stop to break even. Okay. That is right here. These are 16 tick range bars. So I start out with a 20 tick stop that trails to break even after 8 ticks in profit. That is this part of the trade right here. Well, hang on. That is this part right here, the risk management part. Okay, and that's what I'm doing right now. If it gets up here to 16.25, then I bump my stop to break even. Now, I should have already done it, but that's why I'm failing on the risk management part. That's what I was telling you about. If you do all 3 of these correctly, then most of the time, it's going to work out just fine for you. The exit is the next part. Now, down here in the exit, I spell out all the rules for all these things for you. In the exit, look left for the prior swing high for an area of support or resistance. So in this case, that was, that's right here. Hang on. Come on. It was right up here. Yes. Right here. Okay, that was the area looking left. And once it goes beyond that, well, then you'd have to look left even further. Okay. You would have to look we got another arrow coming up right here, coming out of the oversold. We're still in it so far. Here it is. We're still in it. We need to get 8 ticks in profit to bump the stop to break even. It's getting up to 625. That's what I've seen this for. It's just about done it a couple of times. I think it's going to. I think we're eventually going to get up. Now it's got a 30 tick target on it right up here. But I think it's actually going to go beyond that 30 tick target. So right now it's 125. We have just 5 minutes left. But we're going to get the extra 6 ticks or 8 ticks that we need right now and at least get the stop to break even. Just a little bit more. It's going to get up here, right there. Right there. Almost there. 1 more tick. It's going to go. Oh, it was so close. When are you guys selling that every time it gets up there? Just kidding. There it is. Okay, so stop to break even, finally. I'm probably going to end up with a break even trade on this after all that. But, well, now we can let it ride out. Okay. Break even it is. All right, so I did the risk management properly after all. All right, moving the stop to break even after 8 ticks in profit. I waited for all that. But so the 3 different ways to exit a trade. One is to wait until you get your stop to break even and exit on a pullback to the break even. But look for an area for it to go to, which we already did. Then learn to read the DOM, which I would teach you how to do once you become a partner with us, or even when you start taking the trial, I'll teach you how to read stuff. And then the last thing is to trail the stop behind price until the green line, this green line down here, goes from the bottom all the way to the top. Okay, when it gets up into the top, it's time for it to pull back again, like right over here. Got up into the top, time for it to pull back. Gets into the bottom, time for it to go up. Okay, that's what you anticipate. So none of these markets are really giving us anything right now. I'd really like to see this get up, exceed this prior swing high right here. And I want to see the ES do the same thing. Okay. So if we stayed in this trade, we'd be locking a little bit of profit right now. But I did everything the way I was supposed to do it. And we ended up with no profit on that one. There, it did exceed the prior swing high. That's good. Now that would have been over 30 ticks on that trade. Okay. Well, it's now 1:27. I don't know if there's any other questions coming in the live stream. I know Dwayne would tell me if there were. So that's good. Rico, I'm down in your territory now, Rico. I'm in Georgia.
How far are you from Gatlinburg,
Gatlinburg.
Tennessee?
I don't know. I don't know about that.
It's a
in
really
Georgia,
nice.
where
It was a really nice place when I was a kid. It was a great
yeah, I think
destination spot.
I think it still is.
Yeah.
I had some friends that got married there actually.
I think there's
Not
like
too
a
long ago.
river that runs like right through town or something. I mean, it's
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Ray down in Houston, he went there with his wife last year.
Ah.
Yeah, it's got a lot of history in that place. I think in Gatlinburg, and it's right near some other place that's got a lot of history too. I forget the name of it, but
we used to go to Gatlinburg. We used to go to Cherokee, North Carolina. It's got a lot of history.
Yeah, Cherokee, and they got the casinos too.
Oh yeah,
that's where
when I went as a kid. That was way before the whole Indian gaming, Native American gaming industry came into.
Yeah, that all happened when I was a kid in Connecticut. Anyway. All right. Well, the NQ did put in a higher swing. The ES just barely put in a higher swing. They both just barely did. So they're both going to give follow-up trades here. These trades are just taking a really long time to materialize, but they are materializing. They're doing what they should do. And in that last one, if I'd have managed my risk right to begin with, I'd have been out of the trade early on. We wouldn't have to wait through all that. But I managed my risk right eventually, and I ended up out of the trade the right way. I mean, you just got to do. If you have something that works over and over and over, and you have an edge, you have to execute that same edge over and over and over again. I know right here it was tempting for me to get out every time it went back to break even and not wait for it to go to 8 ticks again. But I just wanted to follow the rules. And over here on gold right now, we're getting a pullback. These are the pullback numbers, remember? And if it does pull back down to those numbers, I expect a bounce. Gold's looking for a big bounce, I think. And we'll see what happens after that. It is 1:30 now, guys. So we're going to end up with just that one break-even trade on the NQ today. Not very much action. If anybody has any questions about anything, you can email support@cfrn.net or support@mytradingiq.com. Most of you guys have my phone number too. You can text me at my phone number, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And Rico, I will get back to you as well. And oh, great, Mark. All right. So with that, I guess I am going to end the live stream. And before I end the live stream, I have to connect back on that side. It says I'm not connected. Okay, here I can end the live stream, and then I'll pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. You go ending that. You go, Dwayne. All right, so I can pass it back out to you, D.
And there we are.
Back out there.
Okey-doke.
There it is. I can see
and the recap of the morning session.
Today it took 11 minutes and 4 trades to get to $1,370.
Great job.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
There.
Okay. All right, guys, we're gonna pick up where we left off. We had made it all the way to the ES. We already looked at the daily chart, so if you missed that part, you can always go back and watch it later on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/CFRN. But I really want you to see this, okay? The market opens. Prices below the BBC. You've got red and falling. right to the target. Then red and falling turns to blue and climbing. Price gets above the BBC. And it's like a walk in the park, right up to the target. Now this isn't just a one-off. I mean, there's over 2,200 daily episodes archived at youtube.com/CFRN. So anytime you think, oh, I just had a lucky day, we'll go back. I don't know. You know, maybe we're just living right. I don't know. But you'll see good results most of the time. And when we have a rough day, a bad day, or whatever, I mean, we've had some weeks where, I don't know, a month or so ago, on the Logic 247 alerts on Monday, 54% of the alerts had been stopped out. Now, by the end of the week, that all got turned around and we were down under 20%. But, you know, you do the best with what you can with what the market hands you. But if the market doesn't hand you anything, then you do nothing. Okay? You have control over when you enter and when you exit, and how much you risk. But beyond that, you have no control. Once you enter a trade, unclench, because you can hold your breath, you can get down on your knees and pray and scream, dance or shout, and it's not going to affect what price does. Okay? You got to learn to relax, you know, breathe. Sometimes in mentoring sessions, sometimes I remind people, you know, doing some trading and I have to go, breathe. Whatever the outcome is the outcome. You having an aneurysm, you know, while you're waiting, you know, to get your 2 points on one contract, it's not going to help anybody. Okay? So, now, it's easy for me to say, but it's far more difficult to put into practice. Just telling you, that's where you want to be. You want to be emotionally detached from the outcome of every trade. Because you've done everything right. You followed the rules. You've waited for the high probability, low risk trade setup. You've entered the trade according to the rules. Whatever the outcome is, you have no control over it. So relax. Okay? All right. Okay, so we've covered the ES. It's done all the kinds of things we would expect it to do. Go to the Dow. What do you know? Market opened last night, consolidated at the zone. We're below the BBC. We've got red and falling, so we just short the market right on down to the target. Then price gets above the BBC. Red and falling turns to blue and climbing. And then we just ride it up to the target. Now we've pulled back to the BBC and the zone from last week, which we expect to be support. But we ran up to red and falling, which we expect to be resistance. So price has to overcome this resistance, or it's going to just end up pulling back to the BBC. ES, both targets hit. YM, both targets hit. Russell, we're below the BBC. We have red and falling. We come within a few ticks of reaching the target. That's okay. It's on the way down. 1793 down to 1789. That's 4 points. Goes 2 points a day. You were done for the day. And then, just like the ES and just like the Dow, price gets above the BBC. Red and falling turns to blue and climbing. And off we go. First we consolidate a bit. Remember, when price reaches a zone, 70% of the time there's going to be consolidation. And then like a rocket ship, bang, long target. Okay. In Q. Market opens here last night. We're below the BBC. We have red and falling. And where do we go? To the short target. Get above the BBC. Red and falling turns to blue and climbing. Consolidate a bit at last week's zone. And then we make a run to the target. Then we get back below the BBC. Hit the short target. And find support at the zone. Price rallies up to a zone, we expect support. When it drops to a zone, when it rallies up, we expect resistance. When it drops to a zone, we expect support. And this is really resistance. This was just an outlier right here. This was the 9:30 opening candle. It's the only reason that ran up and hit the long target. So, crude oil. Market opens here. Takes us right down to the target. Now, this area right here, 77.60. That's $350 per contract traded down to the target. Then we traded through the target, and why did we stop here? All you gotta do is look left. That swing low on Friday came last night's swing low. Because there's so much information out there and so many people trying to say is so much stuff to solve problems that really don't even exist. Traders get overwhelmed and they forget that it can be that simple. But it can. We get above the BBC, we get a leg, we get a retracement, and off we go. The long target. Now we're approaching last week's lowest weekly trading zone. Of all the markets, only one closed outside of the zones last week. That was crude. It closed the week well below the lowest weekly trading zone. Unusual, but it happens. Remember, publish the zones every week for our members since December 14th of 2009. Here's gold. Now remember, these are last week's zones because any alerts issued last night are based on last week's zones, and I haven't issued any alerts today yet because I need to get the new zones on my charts, which I haven't done yet. But anyway, we open red and falling below the BBC. Now, even though it didn't reach the target on this move, once everything else is in place, say 1990, let's call it 1991, down to 1987. It's $400 per contract traded. You've earned the right to trade 10 contracts, it's $4,000. Please, whatever you do, if you choose to become a member, don't start trading real money right away. You haven't learned the strategy yet. You haven't learned to read the chart and the indicators in the way that we teach you. If you don't have the self-discipline to put together 10 consecutive days in a row in Sim before going live, per the 24/20 blueprint, my friend, you don't have what it takes to become a trader. And I really don't want to see you waste your money. Better that you donate it to some worthwhile charity, as Michael was suggesting earlier. I'm serious. We're teaching, we're not just teaching you, well, number one, we're not teaching you how to trade a specific instrument. We're teaching you how to trade, which is a valuable life skill. Because once you learn how to trade, you can trade anything. Futures, stocks, crypto, forex, because price flow is the same across all markets and all time frames. You need somebody, though, to teach you how to do the job. I'm sure you read books. I'm sure you've watched a lot of YouTube videos. We got a whole bunch of them ourselves. That's no replacement for a living, breathing teacher. Putting on, taking off trades every trading day, live in real time, explaining every move they make, every trade they take, the rule behind it, and answering your questions all at the same time while you trade along in your demo account so that you can qualify to go live. Once you qualify to go live, you'll go live with one contract. Then your goal is to increase your account balance by $2,000. Once you do that, the blueprint will give you the green light to add a second contract. The blueprint's going to tell you when it's time to add number 3, number 4, number 5, number 10, all the way up to number 20. But you only add one at a time when it's time, and you only add the profit you earned in the market. Have the discipline to follow the formula that you'll receive when you become a lifetime member of the 24/20 blueprint. Now, I'm not going to tell you that it'll guarantee you success, because I don't know what you're going to do with the information we provide or the indicators that you own. I don't know if you're going to book mentoring sessions or if you're just going to try to wing it. But at least you have a fighting chance. And if you follow the rules, you have the discipline to do that, then it becomes a high probability that you can become a consistent trader. You may never reach rock star or movie star status, but you can pay your bills and then some, okay? But only if you're willing to follow the plan and not mix and mingle it with all these other urban myths you've heard, and indicators and oscillators that have done nothing but cost you money. All right, what are we on? Gold. Down we come. Gold for the day and then some. Run up to the zone, find resistance. It's to be expected. Price drops below the BBC and then drops right to the target. Back above the BBC, back above the zone, working its way up to that long target, 2009. Silver. Market opens, we drop to the short target, get above the BBC, consolidate at the zone, drop to the short target again. Now we're attempting to work our way up to the long target. But to do that, we've got to be able to trade above this high right here. Now, if you look at the horizontal line on my cursor, we've already tried once and failed. Previous 30-minute candle failed to break this area of resistance established way back on Friday. If it can break it, then it becomes a high probability that it's going to run to this area of resistance that was established on Friday. Euro. Okay, here's where we opened. We made a move down. Was some money to be made there, but we didn't get to the target. Didn't get to the zone. Got above. Ran up to the target. Resistance at the zone. Pull back to the BBC. Resistance at the zone. Another pullback. This time we consolidate at the zone, and now we've almost made it to the next zone overhead. And again, today's results look really good. It's not a one-shot wonder, okay? Scroll back if you're new on YouTube. See what was happening on February 11th of 2019. Okay? Just pick days at random. I want you to see that thread of continuity. Okay? We're not foolish enough to think we're the fastest gun or even the sharpest shooter. Okay? What we are is not racehorses, but plow horses. We're dependable, we're consistent, and we show up for work every trading day. Since 2008. Okay, that brings us back around to the daily chart, where we've got that all important red and falling now. Kept waiting and waiting. The market finally dropped enough. Turn it from blue to red. We got support right under us. And we're well off the low of the day. Look at how many days that happened. Look at all these dojis. Doji, 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 doji. That's a market looking for direction. Now, my thought has been for some time that direction is going to be down. This area where the bullish cross took place, major support area. At least the first time down. If that's how the market ends up trading. All right. To become a lifetime member with no recurring fees, no upsells, 2 hours of live training in the live training room every trading day, unlimited one-on-one private mentoring, strategy that works across all markets and time frames, indicators that work across all markets and all time frames, and the Logic 247 alerts, and the concierge trade alerts. Now, we just went through every one of the CTAs issued last night, and we looked at the Logic recap, okay? Or nothing was stopped out yet. We're still waiting on one, and the recap was done at 7 a.m. this morning. Recap will be updated this afternoon, this evening. Again, I've got to get this week's zones on my charts, and then I'll start pumping out some alerts. Please don't misunderstand. The alerts are not generated so that you can take the easy way out and just trade the alerts and not have to bother learning how to trade. I know people do that, and I can't stop them. But the day is going to come when they regret that they had this opportunity, the palm of their hand, to actually learn how to trade, how to read a chart, how to let the chart tell you when to get in and when to get out, versus depending upon somebody else, a trader, to tell you when to get in and when to get out. So please use the alerts as they're intended, as a training tool. When you get that logic alert, immediately go to your 30-minute chart and see with your own eyes the window of opportunity that the alert represents. You do that enough times, pretty soon you'll start spotting those windows of opportunity yourself. And guess what? And you won't need anybody else to tell you when to get in and when to get out. The information that comes from the chart is the purest information that you can get. And that's what you want. You want to be able to read that chart like a newspaper or a good mystery novel. To become a lifetime member with no recurring fees, no upsells, no nonsense, go to eminifuturestrading.com. Very simple web page, couple mouse clicks, you're in for life. If you have questions, call us 949-42-EMINI or send an email support@cfrn.net. Okay, let's wrap today up with our good word for the day, as we do every day. Now, today's topic is an interesting one. Don't give up on your Saul. Everybody's thinking about that TV show, Better Call Saul. Different Saul. Acts 9:11. Go to the house of Judas on Straight Street and ask for Saul, for he is praying. Has everyone else written off your Saul? He is too far gone. He's too hard, too addicted, too old, too cold. Joseph believed one day he would be reunited with his brothers who betrayed him, and it happened. The prophet Hosea's wife deserted him and became a prostitute. Yet he kept the door open as she came home. God believed in Saul, and he believed in Saul through Ananias. Acts 9:17. Brother Saul, the Lord Jesus, who appeared to you on the road as you came, has sent me that you may receive your sight and be filled with the Holy Spirit. One of my favorite Christian authors, Max Lucado, writes this: my favorite Ananias type story involves a couple of college roommates. The Ananias of the pair was a tolerant soul. He tolerated his friends' late-night drunkenness, midnight throw-ups, and all-day sleep-ins. He didn't complain when his friend disappeared for the weekend or smoked cigarettes in the car. He could have requested a roommate who went to church more, or cursed less, or cared about something other than impressing girls. But he hung in with his personal Saul, seeming to think that something good could happen if the guy could just pull his life together. So he kept cleaning up the mess, inviting his roommate to church, and watching his back. I don't remember a bright light or a loud voice. I've never traveled on a desert road to Damascus, but I distinctly remember Jesus knocking me off my perch and flipping on the light. It took 4 semesters, but Steve's example and Jesus' message finally got. So, no matter what, don't give up on your Saul. That's our good word for the day. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
You're listening to CFRN, a community of believers who Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.